All right, bingo, here we go. Edwina, Mark, great to see you guys today. Happy Friday on Memorial Week. Looks like we're going to have a lighter session, so early bird gets the worm. It's just us today. How can I help you guys? Edwina, you were the first one to join the session today, so if you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself. Let's talk about it. See those AirPods getting put in right now? Lovely. Edwina, you are still muted, so if you have a question and you want to talk about anything, just unmute yourself in Zoom. Should be at the very bottom of Zoom in your control bar.
There you go. Can you hear me?
Bingo, gotcha.
Right.
How are we today?
Great. Yeah, fine. Um, it's almost midnight, eh?
Wow, is it? Where do you live again?
In Perth, Australia.
Oh yes, very cool. Wow, awesome. Well, definitely glad to have you first then. How can I help today? Tonight?
So, you helped me last time with stuff. Hang on, I've got to share my screen, right? How
Yes,
do
please do.
I haven't done that on Zoom yet.
Okay, great.
So I can just
At the
share it
bottom.
here on Zoom, can I?
Yes, you absolutely
More.
can. That green share button and then just
Oh,
share the
there.
screen.
Okay, cool. I got that.
Nice.
Share screen. Desktop, I'm assuming.
Yes, the desktop is always best. It allows me to follow you wherever you're going.
Okay, can you see?
Not quite yet. I think you still have to hit that little blue
Okay,
share
hang
button.
on, hang on,
Here
hang
it
on.
comes.
You
Bingo.
got it?
Gotcha.
Okay. So this is what I am really annoyed about.
Let's take a look.
So my funnel's gone live
Nice.
um a month
Oh,
ago now.
fantastic. Only
No,
40.
there's nothing fantastic. 611 page views in the
Uh-huh.
last 30 days because I updated and I changed my WordPress site, the landing page, the home page. I actually recreated it in ClickFunnels because I'm sick and tired of having to find someone else to sort out my WordPress. Now I can just do it
Mm,
myself.
mm.
But of 611 page views, only 40 opt-ins and only two orders. That's unacceptable. Because I've gone from the point of view that seriously, I know if somebody lands on that page, they damn well better opt in. And
What are your current opt-in rates on the WordPress page?
well, I can't see it because I've actually moved it all over to ClickFunnels.
Okay,
So it will be this.
do you have past analytics?
Yeah, but I just done Google Analytics and it was on Podia, which was very hard for me to figure out actually on Podia. I'd have to go back to Podia and have a look at what that was. But I would say that in 30 days, this is probably, if I was realistic, it's probably a little bit better. But I've changed the whole thing. I've changed the words. I've done all of that. Um, and it's not as good as I want it to be.
Okay, cool. So, totally understand where you're coming from here, but it sounds to me like we're really just kind of running a split test. The previous page that we had up versus this new page, and we say there's some differences. So let's go look at the two. Nice.
Okay, so this is the landing page, right? So this is
Is
above the
that the same?
fold.
Is that the same hero image that you have been using on your WordPress?
Yes,
Okay.
everything except I've tweaked the words.
Okay.
So I'm much more niche down. I'm more aware of my avatar and my customer. And then here is my free lead magnet. So I've tried really hard to follow what Russell says. Um, oops. So I'm hoping, well, I saw what was that, 40, there were 40, was it 40?
40
40,
options. Yep.
40 opt-ins so far in the last 30 days. And then I've done my next thing. So I've got my free opt-in
Hmm.
and I've now got my paid, my first paid one. And that's here. I don't know if it's too far down or if I should move it up. So this is just the $10 toolkit. And
Mm-hmm.
I've got here all the free things and then, I mean, what it includes and then free things as well,
Mm-hmm.
just to make to, I guess, boost it up.
Well, we could
Um,
definitely play with positioning on the page, right? Like we could first introduce this $10 low price point product. And now that you're getting decent amounts of traffic to the funnel, so we can start, every 300 people, we can change up the page and see what converts best. But, the real big thing I'm thinking about immediately is you're comparing it to what you had been, right? And you're saying we're not hitting the metrics. I should have had more. I would, of course, love to know what the more is. But what are you currently doing, or what were you doing that you like? Is this the exact layout that you had? It went straight to about you, lead magnet, then $10 offer?
no, I've only just this week put the $10 offer in. It's been up for a week. I've had one opt-in to the $10 offer and they did the OTO.
And they
So I
did
got
the OTO.
17, yeah, I got $17 on
Awesome.
that.
That's great to see it
Yeah,
take rate on the first one with an OTO. That's huge.
but it's only
Okay.
one person.
Okay, great. I would be so curious if we could, if I could know any of the previous data that we would get.
Yeah, I'd
So
have to go and get that. And then
that
do you want to
that's
have a look
okay.
at the actual funnel?
Were we just looking, yeah, were we just looking at your funnel stats or were we looking at the
Yeah.
stats there? Because
I
I
don't, well,
think,
I'm not sure.
let's go take a look.
Um, Overview. I'm not sure exactly. So that's just the last few days. So if I go
Oh,
to
so
30
we're looking
days,
at, okay, we're looking at all funnels first off. In the very top left, you have that drop down.
where?
Do you see where I just circled?
Here?
Uh,
Oh, all funnels, yeah?
yes, beautiful. Let's hit that drop down and let's choose a specific funnel.
So do I click here?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So this is my the lead squeeze funnel is my free opt-in.
Nice.
So I've only had 10 opt-ins in the last month.
Okay, and that's out of 111 page views. That's about a
Mm,
10% opt-in rate. Yes, we can
mm,
definitely get that up. Let's go take a look at this funnel itself. So we'll go to funnels in
okay.
our top left.
Yep. Preview or edit?
We can go to, I'm wondering, is this the same funnel? I think that
Yep.
the name that you just showed me in those analytics was different. Can you, in your browser tabs at the very top middle, you have one that says Launch Meeting Zoom?
Where?
Your browser tabs, just straight up, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Click that for me. Let's just open up a new ClickFunnels tab. In your URL bar, type myclickfunnels.com. Beautiful. Perfect. Okay, now in this tab, let's go back to our analytics.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Overview.
Overview.
Mm-hmm. And let's choose that funnel.
It's a lead squeeze funnel.
Okay, lead squeeze funnel. And let's go back to your other funnel now. I think you were correct and I was incorrect. Yeah, beautiful. Lead squeeze funnel. Okay, here we are. So this is just looking at the last 7 days, not the last 30. Let's enter the editor, please. How did most of this traffic get here, Edwina?
Ah, podcast. I have a lot of actually organic traffic on SEO
Okay, nice.
and
What's
the
Ethio?
podcast on my just my search engine optimization, just my
Oh,
keywords.
SEO. Nice.
Yeah, on my SEO, I just worked really hard at that and my podcast and
Okay.
maybe a little bit from Instagram, but really not much. I'd say most of it comes from my podcast and my email newsletter.
Okay, great. Let's talk traffic for a quick moment. Um, your when you shout out, when you give your call to action in the podcast, do you tell people to go to the website or do you give them the URL of this funnel?
No, I just say go to I tell them to go to the show notes, and in the show notes is the URL for this funnel.
Is the URL for this funnel?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. We could definitely just say the URL of the funnel. I'll go look at your URL later, but this is why, Edwina, Russell has a domain for each of his things. So when he goes on a podcast and he's talking about, let's say, .com secrets principles, the .com secrets book has its own domain, so he can shout out in the moment, if you guys want a free copy of the entire book, go to .comsecrets.com. So having a domain that is the name of your thing, like your thing is how to nurture curiosity. Do you own that domain by chance?
No, it's just Blooming Curious. I own the Blooming Curious domain.
Cool. So you could then make a bloomingcurious.com/nurture curiosity. Right now you have
Okay.
a nice domain, a nice URL you can shout out. Anyway, the people that come from your podcast, I would very much expect for them to be opting in at a high rate. I'd be looking at 50% because that's quite warm traffic. They listen to you talk about a principle on a podcast or however, whatever you talked about, and that really sets and primes them. So you send them to a free resource. I'd be looking at 50%. To see it at 10, I definitely think we're low. So let's look at some copy. Spark wonder and curiosity without rewriting your whole lesson plan. Get your free e-guide with curiosity nurturing prompts and ideas plus an integrated lesson plan. That's not bad at all. But I don't really understand what I'm going to get. Like, I'm going to spark wonder and curiosity without rewriting your whole lesson plan. Who is this for again, Edwina? Is this teachers?
For teachers, and also, but without saying the word really, I know that I have in my audience homeschool parents.
Yes.
So for me, I often just use the word educators because I don't really want to say, because then they might feel that it's not for them, but it's really for any educator of an early childhood child.
Okay, but let's talk about this, Edwina. Your traffic is primarily warm. So I would imagine that your traffic primarily knows that you maybe call them educators, and you probably talk about that. I call you guys educators because I know some of you are actual teachers in a school, but some of you are teachers just at home for your own children. So I just call you all educators. So they're probably pretty on par with you. If this was for cold traffic, it'd be a different story. But yours is for warm traffic. So I think we can really tailor this page more to the people that are actually coming to it that we know. Like simply calling out in the headline, attention educators, just simply changing that and like having that be the
Okay.
first part of our headline right here. Now we're resonating with, they come from a podcast or they've been watching our podcast and they see an Instagram post that finally makes them say, let me go check out Edwina's stuff. Whatever, these are our people, warm or hot traffic that comes to the page. So call out your people, then spark wonder
Okay.
and curiosity in who? What, in myself?
In
In my,
children. Mm.
yeah, so let's add that. Oops, let's add it right there. Wonder and curiosity in your students or in your students or children, right? Calling out, really speaking to our dream customer without, so you said the what? The most basic and simple marketing headline in the world goes as follows. I help X, your dream customer, do
Hmm.
Y, spark wonder and curiosity without the thing that you have. So this is really close. You just don't have the I help X, the calling out the dream customer, which is why we can just
Mm.
have attention educators. You could also, if you want to have it clearly and plainly, you could say, attention educate professional educators and homeschoolers. Something like that, right? Call out those dream customers. And then how
Okay.
much harder does it hit? Spark wonder and curiosity with your students. Spark wonder and curiosity in your students' minds. Spark wonder and curiosity in your classroom. Start wonder and curiosity in your kitchen or dining room or living room. Spark wonder and curiosity in the park with your students without rewriting your entire lesson plan. You see what I'm saying here, Edwina?
Yeah.
Nice. Again, I would just so love to see previous stats, to know like really what we're going up against, because these changes I think are going to give us big lifts as they always do. Now, let's get into the lead magnet, which you have in your subheadline beautifully. The headline should really be our hook. Address the concern that the problem that people are having, and show how they can get the results without the problems that they've been experiencing. Then our subheadline,
Okay.
get your free e-guide with curiosity nurturing prompts and ideas, plus an integrated lesson plan. So it's an e-guide. And then we can go look down. I see your mock-up. Perfect. Great job with that. The image seems a little bit small. And when I say small, I think I'm really
Okay.
saying not zoomed in enough. I can't
Okay.
really make out like what this is. I know you can't see my letters or my thing, but
Where are you? Oh, yes. Okay.
like
Yep.
it's really hard to see.
Yep.
I'm having a hard time even seeing the titles of these books. So we could definitely zoom that image in, bring it closer so customers aren't straining eyes. We always want to make this
Okay.
as easy as possible. Spark wonder. So you really, I'm over on the right. Sorry, I'm not yet. Look at this text. Again, I'm really having to lock in. I'm really having to come close. The Ultimate Curiosity Starter Bundle. Free e-guide, 10 curiosity starters, questions to spark curiosity, plus an integrated lesson plan for the story. Integrated for the lesson plan story, I went walking. I went walking. That would be a really
So the
popular
reason I
story.
did that was, I'll just let you know,
Uh-huh.
when I had all my stuff with Podia, these were two separate free lead magnets. So on the one e-guide, I think I got 80 opt-ins in the last 2 years, which is also still pathetic. And the next most popular download was this little e-guide, this little book. It's a picture book, and educators all know it. It's a very popular picture book with educators.
Mm.
Um, and so I then clicked and realized that these two actually go together hand in hand, because the e-guide talks about how you can easily nurture curiosity when you just take children on a walk. And then the picture book is also about going on a walk. So I thought I would put them together in the bundle and then actually make it more valuable for people, because they actually do connect together.
I am a huge fan of that, and we find this many, many, many times over the years. I've found so many people just like you that have awesome lead magnets that are kind of standalone, but that as soon as we bundle these things together and really make like an entire great lead magnet that shows the whole process, whoo, things take off. Like one thing I'm thinking for you already, Edwina, is make this all into a course. Make a mini course where maybe you make
That's
like
my
a
next plan. Yes, that's the exact
beautiful.
next plan. I've already got the layout, and I've already got it's going to be a 5-day course. I've already got the things. I've just got to now put it together. So I was working
Beautiful.
on just getting all these little things going, and then the next thing will be the course.
Awesome. Then that can be a free course that has upsells coming off of it. We can have a VIP upsell. There also can be a one-on-one consulting where you'll consult the educator, whether professional or at home. So that next step, yes, and we can monetize the absolute fire out of that, but we got to get lead gen better. It's really cool to
Because
hear.
I was, I'm sorry, Dante, I was thinking more it should be a free webinar that leads to a paid course, and then the upsell is a membership.
Yeah, we definitely could. And we definitely could make that the next step if you want to have like a $1,000 to $5,000 coaching offer or coaching package, which is community and all. Yes, 1,000,000% we can do that. And I love you're already thinking about putting it in a course, Edwina, because putting it in a course is really going to make the marketing of this so much easier. Right now, you're trying to like explain the two different things that come with them and what it's all going to give them. But once we bundle it together and put it in a course, then it's get my mini course completely free and learn how to do this and this and this and this inside the course. You're going to get this thing to help with this thing to help with this thing to help with this. So it'll be a lot easier to market once we have that.
Yeah.
I think
Because
I would
also
change up,
my niche is actually quite small. My niche
kind
is
of,
not
where's your
for,
market?
because my niche is not for your common garden variety teacher. My
Uh-huh.
niche is not for just anybody.
Uh-huh.
My niche is specifically for people who really are educators who care and are really concerned about, are not concerned with um, grade sheets and assessments and
Oh, they're real teachers
talking
who
and
care about the impact
I
they have on people's
absolutely
lives. Right.
correct. I'm more into the humanistic side of teaching, so nurturing kids, keeping them curious, having an inquiry model, having a
Yes.
project-based model. So these are for a very specific type of individual, and that's why homeschool parents fit so beautifully in this model, because these are the parents who are pulling their kids out of schools because they don't like that whole industrialized model of education.
Are you targeting only Australia?
No, most of my customers actually come from the US.
Yeah, okay, you're not super niche then. In the US, a lot of people would argue that most teachers are good teachers. There's only a few bad ones. I tend to agree with that. I think most teachers at their heart do care about their students and they do
Absolutely.
care about their craft. But in America, the homeschool movement is massive. It's huge. And why are we all switching to homeschool? Why are we all running our own little cohorts where we get our own teacher to serve our own little community of kids, right?
Yeah.
It's two reasons: government overreaches, pushing things down parents' throats. The other reason is that we care about our kids and how they're growing up, and that's why parents are taking control and putting it in their own hands. So this is not a small niche, and earning potential is unlimited in this right here. As years
Yeah.
go on, there's only more and more and more people going to homeschool. So
And it's also, I've just, because I really struggled with this, because I've just kept thinking nobody's going to opt in, nobody's going to do this, because so many teachers love their worksheets, and this is not for the worksheet person. This is for someone who thinks for themselves. It's not for the worksheet person. And I then realized that this is actually future-proofing education because it's about curiosity. It's the humanistic side. Because now AI is taking over. AI can teach the stuff
100%.
for the worksheet stuff. So actually, if I do this smartly, I can also sell this as this is how we prepare children for a digital future. And that means no technology, actually.
Yes, I definitely see positioning for how to stand out in a world that goes digital. And you're right, it is all about having a curious mind, being able to be a good educator and use stories woven into what you're doing to make people really connect.
Yeah.
'Cause that's all that Russell does. I hated worksheets my entire life until I went to a Russell Brunson event and heard him start that thing with a story that I connected with.
Yeah.
And then I feverishly filled it out. So you're right. You're hitting all the nails on the head, Edwina. Here's a couple things I would change. Number one, this subheadline down here, this is far too small. My eyes are also
Okay.
screaming to see that. So you can increase the
So
size.
that whole image needs to be bigger.
Oh, is this text part of the image? I see now.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, the
Yep.
whole thing needs to be bigger. And because on the right-hand side, your opt-in box is this big, you can make your image to be the exact same size as the opt-in box, just as large.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
don't think that subtext needs to be your stack because I see why you did that, especially coming from a WordPress site. But you now have your stack on the right hand side. It says everything you're saying in
Okay.
the subheadline. So I would then put in this subheadline here, I would put who this is for. And I would say exactly what you just told me, Edwina. Let's really build this page for a dream customer. Say this mini course, this micro course, or this guide, sorry, this guide or this e-guide, I think is what you call it. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Mm,
This
mm.
e-guide is specifically for educators and homeschool parents who care about nurturing their child's mind to bring out the best of their child and pour into what is their potential. Let's have that as that sub headline. Hit them with the stack on the right hand side of all the things it's going to help them do. Then we have our opt-in. With me so far?
Yes, I am.
Nice.
Can I just
Now,
like have you every day?
yes, you can. Let's do VIP. Okay, so let's look at your opt-in boxes here. I see first an email. Those look pretty covered up to me. They look really tight together. Let's just make a little margin. So go to your email
Yeah,
input. Yes, those are really tight together. So actually click on your email input.
yeah, I
That
have.
is that's your name, I believe.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, our email. Nice. And hit your top margin slider to the right, the very top one. Yeah, hit it. That looks much better right there. There's a little bit of space. It's not so clumped up. I can see
Okay.
everything. Now, let me go look down a little bit more, Edwina. Scroll down for me on the page. Yup. And there's
That's
just
it.
our footer. Okay, beautiful. So this is really close. This is great, Edwina. Now it's just split testing time. That's all this is. Let's run a bunch of different headlines. You're sending traffic here well. So let's
How do I do the split test?
ah
How do I set that up? How do you
you
do
ask
that?
the right questions. Let's click off to the side anywhere on your funnel. Yeah, just get out of those settings. Did you already save or do we have to save?
I've saved.
Okay,
I've
beautiful.
saved.
Let's exit the editor. Okay, and you want to split test this page. So just to remind everybody, that is your funnel URL. When you give people your URL, this is what you should give them. And take a look at the URL, Edwina. You did great to make it your subdomain, go.bloomingcurious.com. That was perfect. But it's slash lead squeeze funnel. So in your show notes, the URL that people are clicking is showing lead squeeze funnel. We need to change this immediately, or we're going to get 50, we're going to go from 10 to 20% conversions just by this page path tweak right here. We don't want people to see lead squeeze. That's setting a marketing mindset on the front end of, oh, I'm being sold to. We want this to be something sexy and on par with our guide. So I think, what was your big tagline? Nurture and connect, nurture and
Curiosity?
yes, spark. So let's make our page path spark
Spark
curiosity. How's that
curiosity.
sound?
Yeah, okay.
Great. To do that, we're going to go to our main funnel settings in the top right.
Top right settings. Oh,
Beautiful.
here.
That's just the name of the funnel. Only use these
Okay,
names.
here,
There
yeah.
it is. Beautiful.
What did we say? Just nurture
Just
curiosity, maybe.
no, I think it was spark dash curiosity.
Spark. Do I have to put a dash in?
You don't have to. You could put a space, but the system will put a dash. There's always
Curiosity.
dashes in page paths. Beautiful.
Okay.
All right, let's scroll to the bottom and save. Now, here we go though. Hold on. I see your Google Tag Manager in the code, but I don't think I saw a Microsoft Clarity script in there. Are you
What
running
does that
Microsoft?
mean?
Ah, okay. Microsoft Clarity, Edwina, is screen recording and heat mapping software. It is completely free, and I'm going to get you a URL right now because I have a little walkthrough on how to add that to your funnel. It is incredible. So it's a Microsoft product. Are you familiar with screen recording?
Yeah.
Okay. Microsoft Clarity is completely free. It'll take screen recordings of people as they go to your funnel. Not only that, because Microsoft is Clarity is a Microsoft product, you can also get their AI Copilot to do summations. So let the AI watch your screen recordings for you, and it'll give you recommendations on what you need to do to change your funnel page. It's amazing. We need to have that
Oh.
on our funnel, and I just put a link in the chat for you. It's going to take you to a page. I have a whole walkthrough on how to set it up and install it on your funnel. For you,
Okay.
you already have your tag manager in the head code. So follow
Yeah.
my walkthrough exactly. I'm going to direct you back here to the head code. Just go to the end of your go to the end of your code for the Google Tag Manager. Press enter twice,
Oh,
and then
shucks. Hang
paste
on.
the yep. Yep. So you'll go to the end of your yes, you'll go there. You'll press enter twice, and then you can put yes, that's exactly it. And then put your clarity code. Don't worry about doing that for now. Go ahead and remove those
Okay.
extra spaces, but that's exactly
Right.
what you're going to do. Just follow my walkthrough. All right, nice.
Okay.
Now
Thank
this
you.
is looking much better. Let's update. Beautiful. Now take a look at
Spark
that funnel
curiosity.
URL.
Yeah.
That is so much better. Now in your podcast, you can shout it out. Hey, if you guys I have a free guide that walks you through setting up all of this so you can do this thing today. Just go to go.bloomingcurious.com/spark-curiosity. Right? Now you're shouting it out. Now it's in the show notes and now it's not having sales on the front end. So last thing we need to do is set up our split test on your opt-in page. Click the three dots, please.
Team page.
Yes. And now we can hit split test page. This will start a split
Oh,
test, and I like to do it this way because you can, yes, start an entirely new page. So if you were to, like, let's say after this, you go do a deep dive on your previous conversions from your current website, and you realize, like, oh wow, my website did do much better, or maybe you go do a deep dive and realize it didn't. But either way, let's say you want to test out an entire new design, you can use a new page. But if you just want to test a headline or change images, run
mm-hmm.
A/B split testing, you want to run a duplicate. So use the duplicate option on the right hand side for me. Yep. Now check it out, Edwina. You have a split test
Oh,
bar
okay.
right above. So click your split test bar. Right now, 100% of traffic is being run to your control or the original, the
Yeah.
left side. Yep. So
Yeah.
click that, put our slider to 50%.
Yeah.
Yep, right there. Put the slider to 50. Bingo. Now you're running a 50-50 split. Click apply change. Beautiful. Now, you send people right here to the funnel URL. Once they go to the funnel URL, they enter your funnel where they hit the split test. Half of the traffic goes to your control, half of the traffic goes to your variation. Now we can really
So
start testing
ClickFunnels
out different.
decides.
I'm sorry,
So,
say
but it's
again.
on the same URL.
That's right. You just share that main
Ah,
URL at the very top, and they enter the split test.
okay.
Cool,
But
Edwina.
so, but then do I have to?
I
I've
have
got
to
to
step away for
change
just
this.
2 seconds, Edwina. Give me. I'll be right back, and we'll keep going.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, rocking and rolling. Does everything make sense so far, Edwina?
Yes, thank you, Dante. But do I have to change this now?
Yes, now you can enter the editor, and now whatever you change on that variation, or we call it test, but it's just science,
Mm-hmm.
controls and variations. Whatever you
Mm,
change on there, which I recommend first, start with a headline. Let's really
mm,
call out our dream customer, like I was sharing
mm,
with you earlier. Let's test our
mm.
headline until we find one that we can't beat. Immediately, too,
Okay.
I would be testing a larger image with a change
Okay.
of subtext like I shared.
Okay.
And that'd be my first split test. And I imagine you're going to see better results. Typically, when we split test Edwina, we only want to test one thing. Because what if you run a test and you test a headline and a new image?
Yeah.
You get better conversions. Well, was it the headline or the image? I just know that a bigger image with a better subheadline about who it's for, that will convert better.
Okay, Dante. Thank you. That's
Absolutely.
awesome. I'm going to do that. That's
Yes.
perfect. Thank you very much for your help.
Yes, 100%. Any other questions for me today?
No, I think we'll just start with that because I think for me, the important thing is I need to get higher conversions. Um, and then hopefully the same thing, I could maybe even do a split test on the paid option and see how that goes as well.
100%. Yes. Once let's use your organic traffic kind of as a proving grounds. Uh uh let's get this thing converting at least 30%. Once this opt-in page
Okay.
is converting at least 30%, I think you can take it to ads with great success.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Dante. I really appreciate everything you're doing for us.
You got it, Edwina. It is my pleasure. Have a great
Awesome.
weekend.
Thank you, and you. Take care.
Absolutely. All right. Uh Warwick was just asking, sorry, I know you sent that as a DM, Warwick, but I really quick want to share with everybody. I do use Barnum. I absolutely do use Barnum. I have used the paid, and I'm a big fan of the paid, but also I use the free one every single day. Everybody, I think, should use Barnum. Basically, my pitch for Barnum is it's got all the funnel hacking tools that I used to have 12 different browser extensions for. It has everything inside of one. My favorite part though, because I am a disorganized mess. If you guys could see my desktop and all the folders and files, it's like if you've ever heard Winter Jones, who built Barnum PT, he talks about working with Russell on his computer, and he's like, it gives me anxiety, right? Because Winter stores and organizes things perfectly. I do not. So my storage is a mess. I love Barnum because it has folders right inside of it. I don't have to have all this whole folder hierarchy inside of my computer files. I don't have to do all that. Everything stays in Barnum. Whatever I do is always stored. I can just put it in the right folders. For me, it makes my life a lot easier. Scott asks, what's the difference between Barnum and Dante I? Great question. Actually, thanks for wrapping me back to that, Scott, because I really want to get Dante I for Edwina and everybody else. Dante I is my robot that I built. Edwina, I'm putting this in the chat for you right now and everybody else. There we go. That is a link to Dante I. So Dante I is a robot that I built specifically for the One Funnel Away challenge. He is not a custom GPT. He does not use the foundational knowledge of the entire internet, not at all. He is trained very specifically, and I only trained him on the teachings, trainings, and frameworks of Russell Brunson himself. The books, the One Funnel Away challenge. Dante I is your go-to strategist. Hey, thanks, Joseph. Dante I is your go-to strategist. He's a robot me with Russell's brain. It's awesome. He never eats, he never sleeps, he never gets sick, he never has brain fog. All he likes to do is strategy and copy. So, like for Edwina's case, which was great, we just went through, she has a headline. And we know that with that headline, that funnel converted at 10%. But now we want to start using that headline for our dream customer, right? We want to start really getting some terminology in there to call out our customer right from the start. She could take that copy to ChatGPT, sure, or I would take it to Dante I, because now you're going to be running hook, story, offer exactly as Russell teaches it. He'll give you tons of different variations. Like go to Dante I, say, hey, I need to tweak this headline specific for my customer. Ask me questions until you understand my customer. It'll give you a question sheet about your customer. Fill out your customer, and then say, give me 20 hooks, and it'll give you 20 different hooks. And that's the game that we want to play, gang. So Dante I is amazing for your strategy. He's terrible at tech. I want to be straight up and honest with that. I have not had a chance to train him on actually helping you with the tech of your funnels, but we have a great tech support team here at all times. If anybody hits any tech hurdles of any kind, they'll get you up and running immediately. The difference between I think he does, Scott. I think Dante I has a mustache, if I'm not mistaken. He's mustache Dante. Um, the difference between Dante I and Barnum, Barnum is your tools. Barnum is like, let's say Dante's your strategist. So let's say you go to Dante I and you say, hey, find me five competitors in my space, and it gives you those five competitors. Barnum is your funnel hacking tool. So Barnum is where you're going to go take your full page screenshots. You're going to use your color picker to find out the colors they have on the page. You're going to use your font selector to find out all the different fonts they have. You're going to use the rulers to find out how big their images are, how much padding they're putting on their sections. It's a complete funnel hacking tool that used to take so much stuff. It was like 12 to 15 browser extensions depending on who you are and what you used. Now it's all just right there in Barnum. Great questions. All right. Thank you, Edwina. You're fantastic. It was great to talk to you. Feel free to get some rest too. Please don't stay here on account of me. Jonathan, I see you have a question. How can I help today, man?
Just a quick question, and I think I have the answer. I was working with Dante I, and also I heard him respond in your voice. Like
Oh,
it typed out awesome, and I was like, oh, hey, look, he's awake with us.
yeah. Did you do the phone call feature?
No, no, no. I was just typing, and as it was typing back, I just heard your voice.
Oh, that's even better. If you guys really want to get crazy, like let's say you're going on a 30-minute drive or something and you just want to have a conversation, there's a phone call feature where you can literally get on a call with me and he sounds exactly like me. It's
That's
nuts.
cool. Um, but that being said, I was talking with him and working with him, and we had this awesome plan, right? And then it was 2 in the morning. I went to bed. It's gone. The
Oh
conversation
no.
is. I got to do it all over again, or is there a way to recover it?
No, no, I'm sure we remember this. Let me see really quick.
Also, do you remember these things?
Oh my gosh, wow. Old school on me. Holy cow. That is awesome.
Yeah, it's just a built-in MP3 data stick, one funnel away challenge. This is years ago.
Okay, let's see if I can get in here. Okay, I can tell you right now, you are not going to have to go in there. I don't know if I have access to him right now.
Okay.
Kind of a cool story. My brother also works at ClickFunnels. He came here like 2 or 3 years after I started. So he is our master of AI in the back end. He helps me out a lot with Dante I. So let's see if it's going to let me in really quick.
Cool.
Interesting. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get in. Can
Okay.
you shoot me a Facebook message, Jonathan?
Sure. I don't know if I have you on Facebook.
Uh, I should have a break between 1 and 2, so sometime around then.
I'm sorry, you cut out for a second, I guess.
I sure did. I should have a break around in between 1 and 2 today, so I'll get that. I'll get that link for you for the whole conversation. You can go back in.
Yeah, that'd be great. It came up with such great strategy. I just had to like I was like, what about this? What about this? What about this? And he was like, what about doing it like this, and this? I was like, that's fantastic. I'm gonna go to bed. We'll work on it later. It's later.
And what happened? Did your laptop crash?
No, I think it must have just did a restart or whatever, because like all the whole Windows closed down, all my tabs closed. I was like, where did everything go? I was like, no, Dante,
Oh
don't leave
no.
me.
Yeah, interesting. It looked like I'm actually having some issues with my Wi-Fi. We've been homesick all week at the house here, but yes, I will get that for you, Jonathan. Shoot me a message on Facebook, and in between 1 and 2, I'll have a minute.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. Anybody else have any questions? Anything I can help with? A funnel to look at? Maybe some copy to write? A dream customer to align with? Mark, I see you. How can I help?
I just wanted to tell you, I found the training on the Facebook. I'm about halfway through, uh, and so I'm launching today.
Lovely.
So I
That's
just
what
want
I'm
to let you
talking
know
about.
that it's happening. I'm excited, and that was it. And
Come
thanks for
on.
your help. Last
Bingo.
question. I'll see you at 2 o'clock. So that was
Yes,
all.
sir. That sounds great. Good stuff, Mark. Love that. Funnel's going out the door, baby. Fantastic. Does anybody else have any questions here? If not, personally, I'd like to go. Nice, Scott. I got you. Edwina, hang out with me though. If we don't have any other questions, I know it's late, but I think I want to go look at your funnel hub too, and point out some stuff. Anyway, Scott, how can I help, man?
Hey, good morning. Good.
Good morning.
All right. So, you mentioned in a prior conversation that giving a lead magnet as a PDF is kind of a lame giveaway these days.
Mm,
What would you say is the optimal giveaway for to offer?
okay, okay, great question. There's two different tracks of mind I have when you ask about this. First off, is something short and effective, right? Lead magnets. Have you ever heard Russell's KISS test example?
Well, the traditional definition of that is keep it simple.
Yes, but Russell's got a story about this. So back in the day, it was actually when he first got married to his wife Colette. Russell was funnel hacking a bunch of people and learning about lead magnets. And there was a guy, I don't remember his name, but he was teaching people how to date back in the day before that was like a thing. And he had a kiss test. And it was how to find out if your date wants to kiss you at the end of the night. That was his whole page. That was his lead magnet, was how to find out if your date wants to kiss you at the end of the night. That was, I think, the headline that he ran as well. So Russell wants to go opt in for this thing, but he's like, geez Louise, I just got married. What am I gonna go do? Get on a dating thing here? Like, this isn't the move. So he goes to Colette, he's like, hey, I want to go opt in for this guy's thing. It's about dating. It's kind of weird, but can I do it? Don't be alarmed. She's like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Anyway, he goes and he does it. And the guy then immediately sends him an email. And in that email is one paragraph, one simple paragraph. And the paragraph says, hey, so here's the deal. At the end of the night, I want you to have a pause. And during that pause, while you're walking, when you're at her front doorstep, if she plays with her hair, she wants you to kiss her. If she moves her hair away from her face, she wants you to kiss her. If she's jangling her keys and not paying attention, she does not want you to kiss her. Go to the next date. That was it. That was his whole lead magnet. So there's one mindset, and that mindset will always be true. And it is very much especially true now in 2025 when everybody wants quick, fast, quick, fast. That mindset is simple, fast, and effective, gets people the result. And in that example, it absolutely did. The result that the guys wanted was to confidently know if they should be going in for a kiss or not. Simple result, but a big result that had a big effect on people's lives. And it didn't take them a long time to do it. They read that paragraph, they went on a date that night, they were able to implement the thing. On the adverse, we have the other side of an optimal lead magnet, which is just over delivering with resources, assets, and training. I think we can use Edwina for an example on this, right? Like having a lead magnet that isn't just a PDF. It's not just an e-guide. It's good to have those PDFs and those e-guides because they fit the short, simple, fast method, but then turning it into a micro course where they still get that same PDF, they still get the same e-guide, but they also get a video of you walking through the guide, talking about each bullet, sharing a story on why it's important, just further teaching and training on the thing. Right? That's where it really gets powerful. Also, yeah, Jonathan, kind of similar to a tiny challenge. And also, like we did years ago, people would make Facebook groups or they would make communities all about that lead magnet. So it would now be, hey, download my say yes today, put your email in down below, and I'm going to send you my free micro course. In my micro course, you're going to learn this and this and this. Also, not only that, but I'm going to give you access to my private Facebook group where inside there is a bunch of other teachers and educators and like-minded individuals who are talking about these topics every single day. And once a week, I go live for an hour and I answer questions among my community members to help them better do the things that they were called to do. You're going to get all that today for free just when you say yes. Right? So it's a serious over-delivering on the assets and just over-delivering on what you're going to promise. And the over-delivering tends to have the best down-the-line effect, right? Because you're just setting such an example. You're building up so much authority. The quick methods are really great for identifying people and getting them into a buying email sequence so you can turn quick leads into quick sales. And those are good to have, especially in 2025. But if we're talking building a business, if we're talking value ladders and trying to create an experience here at the first step that is so impactful that you create a true raving fan, a Dream 100 type fan that will follow you anywhere, buy anything you sell and do anything you say, it all starts here on the first step. We over deliver on the front end here, create an amazing experience, help them actually solve that problem and take a step forward. Every time we help them do that, take a new step, we introduce 3 to 5 more problems they didn't have at this previous level. So now that they're at this new level with these new problems, guess who they already know, like, and trust? And guess who's there waiting with a course, a training, a community, a program, something to help them get the results at this new level. And there we go. That is how a real business is born. Sorry, Scott. That was a whole preamble about lead magnets, but what do you think and feel from there?
So what I'm taking away from that is that you would maybe create a video where you're teaching them not only a strategy, but maybe one tactic. And at the end of the video, you would then say, if you enjoyed this, sign up for my webinar.
Sure, but you could also just teach one strategy. You could teach one strategy. You could teach 3 strategies as the lead magnet.
No tactics.
Yes, and you could too. You definitely could. You could teach an early on tactic, like a tactic that every beginner needs to know, right? You don't want to give away the juice of your tactics, the things that your webinar is going to talk about. But 100%, if there's like 2 or 3 things that tactically your customers need to know here at the first level so that they can even get the results at your next level, you 100% can. And then instead of just a PDF of like, here's the steps to do this thing, make a video, make a training, show them you click by click doing the thing. Just pour more into it a little bit.
So we're juicing it up to get them interested in signing on for the webinar and actually coming and attending the webinar.
And really what we're doing is we're juicing it up to get them results. We're juicing it up because what roadblocks are going to come up in them trying to do the thing that you're going to share with them, right? What limiting beliefs might come up in their mind? I want to smash and object those right there on the lead magnet level. Maybe are there external beliefs? Is there external factors of what their friends and family or colleagues or professors or like, is there some external force that's coming at them that's going to stop them or slow them down from doing the thing? If so, like that's what you talk about in your video. You pour into that and you say these external forces, your grandma, your professor, they don't matter. You control your destiny. You control your future. So we're really doing everything that we can to over deliver so they can actually get that result and they can actually take a step forward. That's really where free challenges come into as a lead magnet. It's such an over delivering of what they actually need. It's such a in-depth step-by-step walkthrough through. That's why free challenges work really well, because people can go through, they can actually get the results in that 3 or 5 day time frame. And now bingo, now they have that result, they're primed and ready for the next step.
Yeah, you're stepping into the conversation that's already going on in their mind.
There it is, 100%. At each step in the value ladder, there are different conversations going on in your customer's mind, right? Like at the first step in the value ladder might be, gosh, if I could just learn this one strategy, or if I could just learn this one tactic, it would unlock everything. If I could just learn how to do this thing like this guy does, I'd be able to get these results. But at the highest level, your guys might be questioning, man, I need to figure out how to get an extra 1,000 leads a month into my business. Or maybe the questions they have at that level are, I need to raise $100 million in capital, right? But there's always a dinner table conversation at every single step in the value ladder. And that's what your funnels and your products do. They enter the conversation, solve the problems.
Great. Thanks so much for clearing that up.
100%. Great question, as always, Scott.
Thanks.
All right. Any other final questions? I know we're hopping into yes, Joseph, we do have time. We're getting close to 12 o'clock, but today Russell is actually traveling. I think I've shared it with you guys before, but it's Memorial Week, realistically. The week of Memorial Day, pretty much all founders and CEOs take that week as going out and doing their own thing. So anyway, Russell is not going to be here today from 12 to 1. If you guys would like, I would like to talk about your Epiphany Bridge stories, and everybody should have Epiphany Bridge stories, everybody who is an expert at least. So from 12 to 1, we can have a session and a conversation all about Epiphany Bridge stories. I think that would be beneficial. But before then, I know Jonathan, or sorry, Joseph. I know Joseph has a quick question. Nice. And then I definitely know we have some experts. So we'll hop into that. And I think we'll have maybe a little bit of time before 1 where I can open it back up. But even though Russell's not here, we still have 12 to 1. So let's get into it. Joseph, though, has a quick question. How can I help, Joseph?
Okay, I'm way behind, but I'm not a quitter. So here's my
Yes,
issue.
sir.
I'm dealing with Google Forms, and I'm trying to send my product that questionnaire to see who likes what type of my product. So it tells me that I should copy what you have on for video, and then I got to go to Google Forms, correct? Online, and then transport that information that you have onto Google Forms and then send it off, correct?
That's absolutely right, Joseph.
Okay, and there's one other thing. Once I do that, I'm technology-wise, I'm not that great, so I'm learning a lot of new things because I'm a former veteran and been out of the military a while. So here's the deal. Once I do that, it says I need to get into these Facebook groups that deal with my product, correct?
Yep.
Okay, now if I'm not on Facebook right now, but so I need to go to Facebook and go on to for the business level, right? And just put my company name in there and then go at it like that.
Well, I wouldn't do it from a business page. I would just do it from your personal page, Joseph. A lot of times when it comes to Facebook groups, sharing from a business page and also sharing links, like you're going to share a link to your Google form, a lot of times that's actually going to get your post automatically declined. Facebook has changed a lot in the past year, and they added a moderation tool that will auto decline things if somebody ever shares a link. So we've seen a lot of people get resistance from Facebook groups. If you should so happen to see that, here's a really nice workaround. We use Facebook engagement campaigns. It's a simple Facebook ad that you can run all about engagement, and you run your survey as a Facebook engagement campaign.
Okay.
We see people getting survey responses for 20 cents to 50 cents. So it's really cheap and it's great data. Having said that, though, yes, you would want to go from your personal page and go to those groups, the places and spaces that your customers are. Go ahead and put your survey down. And if you start getting removed from groups, like your post gets denied, you can try to change up the positioning of your survey. A lot of times we find that the surveys are just seeming a little too salesy. And group owners see that and they're like, no, we don't want that. That looks like outside traffic trying to get their own thing. So they just shut it down. But what we've had students have great success with is repositioning the survey to, instead of it being salesy, making it help me settle a debate. You know, like for instance, one of the people that did this really, really well, they were selling tumblers and they were selling homeopathic themed tumblers. Had a bunch of different plants on it and the medicinal use of those plants. And they said, help us settle a debate. We're creating a tumbler for our mom. I think this is the prettiest tumbler. My sister thinks this is the prettiest tumbler. Help us settle a debate and pick the prettiest one for our mom. Everybody who enters gets a $50 gift card, and we're going to choose a winner on mom's birthday. And that started getting past Facebook groups like crazy. Just taking it from kind of salesy to a simple help us settle a debate.
Okay, I like that. But one other thing, I'm not on Facebook. That's why I said, should I enter it as my company on the Facebook? Because I'm not on Facebook personally.
I would just make that may pose a problem, Joseph, only because as you go to post in a group, the group moderators will probably look at your page and they'll probably try and see like if you're just spamming the group or not. And then if you have a Facebook page that doesn't have any pictures or any posts or any activity, they probably will think you're a spammer. So do you just not use any social media?
No, but can I do this? Can I go through my sister's page?
You sure could. Yes,
Okay,
you could.
I'll do that then.
Cool. You definitely could. Joseph, you're probably going to want to start a Facebook though.
Okay.
If you're going
All
to
right.
do the thing, you're going to want to start a Facebook or an Instagram or a TikTok or a blog or something. It is in 2025. I'm sure you've heard everybody say this and they're not wrong. In 2025, we definitely want to have a social presence. This is how people find their authoritative figures. This is also how people make buying decisions, right? Let's say somebody finds your ad, that let's say you run an ad and they like that ad. A lot of times people find your ad and then they go and look up your social media presence and they go to see, is this a real person? Is this a real page? Are people talking about her doing the thing? So you're probably going to want to start that up anyway. Use your sisters to get started, but once you have yours, you have a couple photos, maybe a couple friends, then I'd start doing it right from your own.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. I appreciate it, Dante.
Yes, sir. Great questions, Joseph. All right. Oh, nice. Chris, good to have you in here. How was it? Funnel Friday good? Always is. Always is. I remember Russell and Jim Edwards did those, and when I first started in this world, man, it was crazy watching every single Friday. What a great believer it was, and it really smashed a lot of my limiting beliefs. Just watching people build funnels and writing headlines and doing the thing in 30 minutes every day. What'd you think of it today, Chris?
It was good. It was on the hero pages. So they're just kind of they did one from scratch, but and then obviously they always throw the nuggets out at the end, so you got some that you can use for yourself. But no, it was
Yep.
super cool. I learned a lot of good stuff on different like color schemes and how to use gradients and stuff to really make them pop. So I'm excited to
Yes.
build mine out more.
Yes. Awesome. Love that. Team's gonna love hearing that as well. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so gang, I think this would be a great opportunity to talk a little bit about. Let me go here and here. I think you guys are seeing, let me see. Okay, yes, got the right screen. Fantastic. So I think today would be a great opportunity for us to talk about our Epiphany script. Our Epiphany Bridge story is so important. Do you guys know what the Epiphany Bridge stories are? And when I say an Epiphany script, do you know what I mean by that? One for yes, two for no in the chat, please. Have you guys heard of the Epiphany story before? Okay, great. Great. Does anybody have their Epiphany story down pretty solid? Like if somebody was to ask you, well, how'd you get started in this world? Does anybody have one that they're like, yeah, I've said this 100 times. I know it really good. I'm confident with it.
Yes.
Michael said yes. Beautiful. Awesome. Michael, I might use you as my example later on. That's fantastic. I love to hear that. So, for anybody who doesn't know, our epiphany story is everything. It is quite literally everything. In sales, it's never been the features, it's never really been the bullet points. That's not the stuff that makes people buy. The things that make people buy, the things that make people listen, the things that make people pay attention are stories. And just like since the beginning of time, since the first campfire was ever created, it's stories that have brought people and cultures and races and religions all together. And our Epiphany Bridge story is everything, absolutely everything, when it comes to being able to sell our product in an online one-to-many presentation, but also when it comes to us just being able to talk about the things that we had happen in our Epiphany story. So, if we go to mission 16 inside of your One Funnel Away Challenge training, it's labeled your first hook and story. So this entire video, we don't have to take the time to watch it together. I know some of you are on this day, some of you are not on this day, so it's 23 minutes. It is not long at all. But basically, to sum up this video, Russell talks about how he got invited to go speak at, goodness gracious, what is that? The Prove It conference. I forget the business owner's name that owns Prove It. I believe Russell's a partner in that company as well. But anyway, they're going to a health and wellness conference, and it's all these people that are obsessed with ketones and they're obsessed with gluten-free and all these things, right? So as Russell goes and he gets asked to go speak at this event, he goes up and he's checking into his hotel. As he's checking into the hotel, there's all these people in the lobby, and they're all wearing these shirts. And I forget what exactly the shirts say, but it's saying something about them losing weight, right? And they're all in these bright shirts, and as people are walking into the hotel lobby, all these people just swarm on them, and they start talking in technobabble. Technobabble, the death of all stories, the death of all persuasion. Technobabble is the worst thing ever. It's like when somebody goes and approaches you in a hotel lobby and says, hey, do you want to lose weight? I know the best way to get your semi-glutides into beta-hydroxyphilizate, and that means you're going to be producing ketones, and that means you're going to hit the ketogenic metrics of a god, and once you do that, you're going to lose tons of weight, right? I don't know anything that you just said. That's technobabble, saying a bunch of high-level words, and we all do it. I certainly did it when I first started. It's a human being thing. We want to increase the authority. We want people to see us in the greatest light possible. So we think by going up there on stage and saying a bunch of big words that nobody actually knows the definition to, they're going to look at us with a higher authority. They're going to think we're smarter. They're going to think we're a better fit for them. It actually does the exact opposite. I was working with a doctor a couple of years ago. I even forget his name. Jeez Louise, time is flying. Kids, unlocks a new time level. It's ridiculous, right? So I was working with a doctor back in the day, and he had a really cool process for water. It wasn't like Kangen water or anything like that. He was just a doctor, and he did his own research, and he found a really, really cool water process. And when he explained it to me really simply. And he was like, hey, how you rest your water is the form that it takes on. And water is living and moving. And if you're not cautious about your water, you could actually be really hurting your body. It's like, oh, wow, that's cool. Tell me more. And then I watched him get up on stage, and I watched him talk to a bunch of different doctors about this thing and some real normal people. So he gets up on stage and he says, I've discovered the method for the hydroxylation process of the decomposition methods of the H2O monetization factors. And he just said all these big words, and even amongst a room of doctors, I was tuned out after 10 seconds. After 18 seconds, I started getting curious, and I looked around the room of all these smart people, and all these smart people were tuned out too. Nobody was paying attention to a word that he was saying. So when he was all done, I said, why did you do that? He said, what? What do you mean? I said, why did you just go talk like that? Why'd you use those words? He said, oh, well, I was talking to a room of doctors, so I like to use that verbiage when I say that. I say, man, we can't ever do that again. I go on to explain technobabble. I go on to explain what I watched the entire room do when he started technobabbling. So we all do this, and it's something we have to remove. We have to just make our stories very simple, very easy to understand. Put it into third grade terms. When we start to technobabble as well, The big thing that happens when we start techno babbling is we start veering off the path of what our actual story is. And Russell, of course, explains this beautifully in his example. But Russell talks about how, oh my gosh, Marcus Lemonis finally remembered a name. Geez Louise. Russell talks about Marcus Lemonis, the owner of the Prophet, how Russell at, I think it was FHL2, it was at the second Funnel Hacking Live, they get Marcus Lemonis to come be the keynote speaker. FHL back then was not what you see it to be today, so it was their first keynote speaker. They were ecstatic to have Marcus Lemonis there. So Marcus shows up, he gets there like an hour early, they're in the back talking, hanging out, and Marcus, when he first comes in, he goes, "Hey Russell, what's up, man? What is this? Why is everybody so excited?" And Russell goes, "What do you mean? This is FHL." And he goes, "Yeah, isn't this like a website building conference? Why is everybody like jumping and hooting and hollering? What's going on out here?" And Russell goes, "Oh yeah, these are funnel hackers. We're talking about funnels this week." And Marcus says, "I don't understand. What's a funnel?" So Russell goes into his technobabble speech. "Oh, well, a funnel is a highly curated and highly thought out step-by-step process we take customers through that's built to maximize on conversions. It's going to convert better than any website ever built. It converts better than all the storefronts. And then we can run ads specifically because of our domains and tracking. And now we can find the best funnels and pump more into them and find the worst. And conversions are through the roof the whole way." And Marcus is checked out at the end. He doesn't get it. And Russell watches the white face wash over him. So even Russell Brunson, in the moment is like, "Hold on. Okay, wait, hold on. What's the origin story of funnels? What are funnels?" So he goes on to explain what funnels actually are. And he says, "Well, I was doing this networking event back in the day, and I didn't want to ruin all my relationships with my friends and families just so I could try and win a car. So I did things this different way that I heard from somebody. And sure enough, by doing it in this different way, I was getting crazy results. And then I just started pouring into my results. And the next thing you knew, I had actually won that car without having to sacrifice any of the things I wanted to sacrifice, just by making a funnel. My funnel led me to everything." And then Marcus says, "Oh, wow, that's awesome. So wait, if I'm understanding correctly, everybody needs a funnel." Marcus, just in Russell sharing his one epiphany story right there, his simple epiphany story, not how funnels have increased conversions and higher opt-in rates and down the line sales and how a funnel can increase the bottom line of every business, bottom line. None of that nonsensical marketing technobabble. He just spoke and he shared his simple story. "Hey, I was trying to do things this way for years. It wasn't really working, or I had minimal success, but then I learned about this new method, this new vehicle, this new tactic, and then I implemented that thing and I got great results, and then I've been doing these things, and from there I was able to build this." And yeah, funnels are everything. Just having our simple epiphany bridge stories is everything that we need to do. So I can actually walk you guys through creating your epiphany stories right now. And I'm going to bring this. I have a quick little worksheet. Russell walks you through it very simply. In Russell's training, he's going to walk you through the how without framework. The how without. How to get these results without all of these failures that everybody else experiences, or all these failures you've experienced in the past. So the how without is a fantastic way to write your epiphany, and it's really going to be the hook of your first slide in your actual presentation. But if we hop over here, I'm gonna put this up in the training, and I'm gonna have a link for all this. I'll put it down in the recording, and I'll put it in your guys' communities. Don't worry. Feel free to just write this down, or even take little screenshots if you would like. But part one comes down to your backstory. What was your life before you had this epiphany? What were the pain points you were going through? What were you emotionally, as Russell likes to teach it? What were you emotionally, financially, spiritually going through? As we write our backstory, remember the three markets: health, wealth, relationship. Health, wealth, relationship. So think about your pain points. Think about your backstory in the lens of the market that you're trying to be in. Right, you can definitely have more. You don't, if you're targeting the wealth market, you do not have to have your pain points be, "I was broke, I didn't have a fancy car, I didn't have a huge house." Right? You don't only have to live in that market, but if you're trying to speak to people's wealth, then you should have your backstory. Definitely wealth should be a focus of that. So just think about your life. What was frustrating or unfulfilling about your situation? You know, so like my backstory, if I was to give my backstory, before I discovered this secret, I was a struggling realtor who was struggling to get leads and turn them into sales. More importantly, struggling with my online presence. I didn't know how to write a single line of code as a realtor, but the pages that I was given to use and edit were all code-based pages. So I was really blessed, and I even had somebody in office that designed and did all the code for us. But when I took my site to her to make those changes, she kept telling me she didn't know how to, or that wasn't possible, and all the things that I knew to be possible because I had to rely on this person, they were not possible. So I decided to take things into my own hands, and I decided to go learn code. Well, I opened up YouTube, I watched half of one video, and I closed that immediately because I am not a designer. So before I learned this secret, I was really struck. I was struggling. I was between a rock and a hard place. I don't know how to get more leads, and I can't change my online presence so that I can do the things I'm learning to get more leads. I was feeling frustrated, and I was starting to feel burnt out on something that I was really passionate about. That's it. Simple, easy, gang. We don't need to overcomplicate this. Many times, many times, I see people try and overcomplicate this, and a lot of it comes down to comparison. A lot of it comes down to, oh, the people that I see, the Russell Brunsons that I follow, they have this story that they rattle off perfectly every single time, and it invokes so much emotion, and it really hits with me. Well, they've been doing it for 14 years. They've told that story 172,000 times. They've carefully curated it and crafted it to speak to your specific emotions because they've tried so many different versions. You didn't see all the ones that didn't work. You just see the ones that worked. So please don't be scared to get outside the box and be honest about your backstory and what you were going through. So part 2, the struggle. What problems did you face that you couldn't overcome? What did you try that didn't work? Why did this problem matter so much to you, right? Like example, no matter what I tried, I couldn't seem to. And my wall would be tech. My wall would be learning code. No matter what I tried, I couldn't seem to learn how code worked. No matter how many trainings, no matter how many courses, no matter how many YouTube videos I watched, I just couldn't understand the matrix. I couldn't grasp this concept. And as I was learning these new marketing strategies, the things that didn't require code, I was able to try, and I was able to do, and I was able to get success at. But I wasn't able to implement the code factors, the actual online presence of it, and that was really slowing me down. Simply introducing the wall. Part 3 is the epiphany. What's the aha moment that changed everything? What did the idea, I'll get this set up for you guys taking pictures. What was the aha moment that changed everything for you? Everybody has that aha moment, and far too often we skip over it. We think that because our aha moment was our aha moment, it doesn't matter to other customers, and people aren't going to resonate with that, and that couldn't be farther from the truth. Your aha moment is everything. It's the moment of revelation where all the doors opened and the angels from heaven sang. So, in that moment, in your aha moment that changed everything, where you were able to look through the proper lens, where you were able to get the results that you'd been chasing forever, how did the idea, framework, or belief first come to you? How was that thing? Like, how did that idea first come to you? In Russell's example that he's going to share in the video, he says he has other people go through their epiphany, right? And it's a sea full of network marketers. And he goes to one lady and says, so how did you get started on this journey? And she says, well, somebody gave me a free packet and I tried it and it was actually delicious. It tasted like candy, but I've been taking those packets for the last year and I've lost 35 pounds. And the crowd goes wild and crazy, right? And it's like, wow, that's amazing. And Russell says, why didn't you tell the person that in the lobby? Because I heard what you were telling them and it wasn't that. And she goes, well, I didn't think they'd care about that. I thought they wanted to hear about the semi-glutides. No, they never want to hear about the semi-glutides. They want to hear about your story, your transformation, your epiphany, what happened. So, how did the idea, framework, or belief first come to you? I saw an ad like me, my epiphany. My epiphany is this. And I was up late one night wasting my time trying to watch these YouTube videos to learn how to write code so I can implement these new marketing strategies and tactics I'd been learning. But and the greatest thing that ever happened is while I was watching that YouTube video, an ad hit. It was an ad for Russell Brunson, and he was talking about this no-code software solution he had, so I didn't have to be on that video learning code like I was doing in the moment. All I had to do was go to the software, and I could start implementing marketing tactics right away. And the greatest decision I ever made was to click that ad, because I went over to ClickFunnels. I never had to watch a single code since then, right? A single code video since then. Your epiphany, what was the aha? In my case, it's I saw an ad. I saw somebody's ad that was telling me about this thing, and my epiphany was to take that ad and do the thing. Very, very simple. What shifted your thinking? You know, in that video, Russell was talking about how so many entrepreneurs die at the level that I was at right here. So many entrepreneurs die at the idea because they don't know how to implement, and they don't know how to implement because they don't have a team of coders and developers that work 24/7 for them. They didn't go to school for any of this. There's no knowledge. So that's where it dies. And then he talked about how we have this one software that everything you need to do is all inside this one software. No more code, no more development teams, no more talking to Germany at 2 o'clock in the morning. You can be a solopreneur. You can build your funnels. You can launch your funnels. You can scale your funnels all from one place without knowing any code. There's my epiphany. And then we get to the plan. What new idea, framework, or strategy did you start using? What was different about this approach, and what made you believe it would work? So my plan comes down to, now that I had the software, I just needed to launch. And it really came down to the dream customer. I'd been trying the website thing, and I'd been trying sending some traffic to so many different places. And it wasn't until I implemented true funnel planning that I started seeing the great results. The first funnel that I made was a lead funnel, and I was teaching people how to get the results as a realtor that I was getting. And I launched this lead funnel. I tried it in the past using a website, but I never could get it to take off until I made an opt-in funnel around this thing. And I started running traffic specifically for realtors who wanted to learn the things that I was teaching. Now I had a specific funnel built for a specific customer, and I sent my traffic right from the traffic to that actual funnel itself. And once I started doing that, once I stopped sending customers to directories and websites, and once I started sending them directly to the source, that changed everything. Now I was running true funnels, and I started making multiple lead funnels for multiple different customers that I had in my business. What comes down to your plan? What is different about this approach? Right? I wasn't just running a website anymore. I wasn't just running a directory. And then you could add what made you believe it would work, your social proof. And the reason I started doing this because I watched an underground presentation from a legendary marketer that showed me exactly how he collected 1 million leads in 1 year. We don't need to make this simple. We do not need to overcomplicate this, gang. What we need to do is we need to make it, we need to start, and then we need to go start telling people, right? This is why people go to networking events many times. If you have small networking events that are popped up around your local area, please go through this worksheet, create your and the day 16 training. I believe day 16, let me see. Yes, mission 16 in your training. Definitely watch this video first because Russell teaches this beautifully. He has for years and forever. But hop over here. Once you make this, go to some small networking events. I guarantee there's some small business networking events around you that if you go to that room and let's say there's 25 people in there, and if you introduced yourself to every single person and you totally botched what you do for a living and your epiphany bridge story, nobody would care. The world would never be wiser. So once you come up with your story, go to those small little places. Go mess up on your story privately where nobody can watch so that when you enter the marketplace, you really have a firm grasp on your actual epiphany bridge story. And that's it. That's it. You can get into the moral, the belief transfer, but for your Epiphany Bridge script and to follow Russell's training, you really don't even have to. The moral, the belief transfer would be, what do you want your audience to believe now? And in my case, I would want my audience to believe that websites are dead. The old ways of marketing are gone. Everybody has to have a funnel. Every business needs a funnel. And how does my story provide that belief? On how I was doing the old marketing tactics. I did have websites. I even did have billboards, and none of that really ever turned into any sort of real profits for me. I was spending thousands of dollars every single month in in realtor websites where customers are searching for homes, like Zillow, to try and be the top agent so I can get more leads from that place. And I was trying to do all these different things that never worked out until I took lead generation into my own hands and until I started using sales funnels. And how does my story prove that belief? And that's just in my life. I was this struggling realtor. Now I've been able to step out of real estate and I become a coach of realtors, showing other realtors how to implement the same process that I learned over my time. That is it, gang. That's the whole PDF. It's the whole worksheet, and that's all that it comes down to when it comes to crafting your Epiphany Bridge story. This is the most important story that you're going to come up to. This is as you meet new people, this is how you're going to get a foot in the door. And think about the networking events that you've gone to. Maybe you went to the last Funnel Hacking Live. And how many people do you meet that you can tell within the first 10 seconds? How it's so funny how this works. It's like when we talk to customers. Excuse me. It's like when we talk to customers, we don't want them to judge us, right? It's like we want them to be forgiving. But as soon as we go to a networking event and somebody else, we ask them what they do, we're so judging on them, right? So how many times do we go to a networking event and we ask somebody what they do and they take 10 seconds to ramble off what they do, and it's not professional, it's not concise, it's not rehearsed, it's not articulate, and immediately what happens in your brain? You immediately lower your status of them. You don't look at them as a serious person. You don't look at them as an asset or an ally. So don't be that person. How do we not be that person? It is by simply having a good Epiphany Bridge story where we can articulate the problems, the pains that we went through, the things we've learned, what we got from implementing them, and why we're here sharing it with them today. Very, very simple, gang. So I would love to talk some Epiphany Bridge stories. Michael, you have your Epiphany story. Do you wanna hit us with it?
Well, I have it kind of, and it's not according to the I guess like copy secrets or the actual like ad libian style, but I'm pretty clear on it. What I'm
Cool.
struggling with is I think the big thing that I'm struggling with is in telling the epiphany story, the epiphany itself is not the milk and honey of what I'm bringing people in for. I'm a public speaking coach, and I base this. I work with content creators, executives, etc. Reductively, I say that I help people sound hot and smart. It started if I am speaking to men, I help men speak with a deeper, more commanding voice without sounding like they're trying too hard. I'm a professional opera singer, and this is what all of the training is based on. But then I also spent a couple of years selling cybersecurity software, and I've been a coach for a very long time of fitness and public speaking. So really, it's about self-actualization and becoming your authentic self and getting comfortable with that.
Mhm.
That, however, I don't think is something that people are going to click buy for immediately. It's not. Does that make sense?
Becoming their authentic self, finding their true voice so they don't have to wear a mask every day, and they can just wake up confidently as themselves.
Yeah, for all of the 800 or so of the Garrett J. White stacks that I've done, I still have a limiting belief around that. So yeah, I'm clear on. I don't know. You take the lead. I'm clear, but I'm not clear. If that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's true. Personally, I think that would be a great driver, and I think that probably is something that many people when they're on camera go through, and it's like, well, how do I be my true authentic self? And then they lose themselves and then they can't deliver like they want to.
Yeah,
Uh
Scott, you nailed it. I got a testimonial yesterday, and it's like confidence is the recurring theme that I'm getting. So I guess and it's like using yourself as the case study. I go back, like I've always like I know how to sing, I know how to fill up a large hall over an orchestra. I've got those techniques, but when I go back and I look at my early videos from 2018, 19, I'm speaking the content terribly, the organization of it terrible, and I'm not actually using my voice or speaking clearly. I'm not doing any of the things that I teach.
Mm.
So, yeah, I guess maybe I just need to look a little bit harder.
Well, look for what exactly?
The real epiphany.
Mm.
Because it's not just, oh, I took a voice lesson and because that's not what it is.
You actually, yeah, it's in the owning of it. Like somebody can share with you the framework of, yeah, when you're a man and somebody says, let's do it, you got to say, let's do it instead of, let's do it. Yeah, of course, right? Like, so somebody can give you that framework all day, but then how do you step into your voice? How do you really own that thing? So for you, I think that's your epiphany. How did you really, like, after you learned the thing, did you have any struggles? Like for me, I can go through this as well with another story. When I first learned about infinite numbers, I was really resistant to it and it hurt my business like never before. So infinite numbers are 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9. That's why when you go to the grocery store, the only things you see the price points end with are 0.95, 0.97, and 0.99. These infinite numbers make certain people feel and act and do certain things. So, me being the ignorant marketer that I was back in the day, I said, I don't like that rule. I learned the rules to the game, and instead of playing the game by the rules and using them to my advantage, I said, I don't like the rules, and I whined and complained. So I didn't end my products with that. I listed my product for $500 instead of $497.97, and I got smoked. My launch was terrible. My competition got more bonus and benefit. More of my customers went to my competitors because I refused to price my product the way that I should have. But in actually learning and going through this, I actually had to learn the hard lesson. And the hard lesson is this: once you learn the rules to the game, you have to go play by the rules. They're never going to be rewritten for how you want to do them. Be a good chess player. So like for you, it could be a very similar story where, hey, so I went to all these voice coaches and every single one of them for years kept telling me, as a man, I need to have a certain tonality. As a man, I need to have a certain pace to my voice, and I need to change when speaking to different men and women. And they kept walking me through, and everybody kept giving me the exact same examples, and everybody kept giving me the same trainings. Gosh, what's the word?
Lesson could be
Lesson, thank you. Everybody kept giving me the same lessons and the same things for me to work on at night when I went home. And I kept for years working on them and doing these things, but I never really understood like how it worked for me, or I never really understood the why of what I was doing until I had this conversation, until I watched this thing, until I was in a private room and I heard somebody say this. And then once I started learning this, all the doors unlocked. Everything I learned over the years actually started making sense, and I was able to apply it to my style, my training, find my voice, find my thing. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. And actually, it's funny you mentioned a couple of the things that I would say, like either names or something. Tonality training is one of the things that I call my doing business as, and then
Yep.
unleash your voice is another one. And that's probably for another call, which would be is this a framework? Is this a business name? Is this an idea? Is this a whatever? Um, yeah, I think what I'm getting out of this is that actually I should just really tell my story. Like it's so simple. Like I should just tell my story. It's like it's not about, but before this it's like, okay, yeah, I'm singing on a huge stage in a principal role in a big international opera house. You can obviously hear me, but how come when I go speak in a room with people, I'm still having these thoughts, or I'm not able to come across this way, or when I am building a personal brand or speaking to the camera, this is not happening. What's the thing that changed? And then,
Mm.
but part of the hesitance there, I'm wondering, how can I keep it attached to the voice? Is that because these are also voice lessons? We are doing a literal vocal transformation, but your voice tells the world who you are. So there's a personal transformation as well. Is, how do I basically say, look, I got better at thinking and I got more courageous to say what I was afraid to write down or say previously?
Man, that Michael, that's it. That's the story. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable.
Okay.
Don't do the thing that we all humans do, where we want to talk about our successes. We want to talk about, hey, I'm an opera singer. I go on big stages in front of tons of people. I belt it out like you wouldn't believe, right? Don't just talk about your victories. Talk about the failures that you had along the way of getting there, right? And now we're just repositioning it to how could a famous opera singer who sings in front of X thousands of people not be able to have the proper conversation one on one, or not be able to have a business conversation? How does somebody go from singing in front of thousands to not able to hold a business
Let me
conversation?
let me test something out with you, because then there's just to see, this is very helpful, so thank you. Um,
Mm,
Even in that time, I was known as, like, and this is part of the story that I tell, right? I have a lot of stuff that I'm continually trying to make order out of chaos with.
yep.
But is that, like, I was the designated, I was like the VIP schmoozer, right? Decabillionaire who funds the opera company, head of the opera company. They're like, who's going to have dinner and sit in between us? Michael. Even in those conversations, it was very performative. Like, yeah, like, I know, like, look, I'm getting along. Like, look how good the conversation is flowing. Everybody likes me. You think it's about you, but it's really about me. Then something happened where it's like, no, now I'm able to just sit with you and be like, I don't need this validation. I'm looking to connect with you, and I don't care if we talk about deep stuff or if we talk about the salmon that we're eating.
Yes.
Okay.
Go
Because
ahead. No.
that is to I think somebody pointed it out, the selling of the confidence. It's like, yeah, that's where I take people to. That's where I help them get to now. And then they have the voice, the sound hot and smart element to boot.
Yes. So and that's like your big domino too, that your webinar presentation is gonna dispel. The big domino is that, your mind is ready to step into your voice. So 100%, Michael, you're right on the money. Now we just need to make our epiphany story and we need to go try it. Dude, go hit some little 20-person little tiny networking groups that nobody's at, and go run through your story and see the responses and test out a couple different tries of that.
This is super helpful. Thank you. I think if I had not jumped on this call and even just, some verbalize that out loud, but also gotten your feedback, I would have really just focused way too much on the surface level thing, and then trusted that, okay, now you're in, now we're gonna almost bait and switch, but be like, oh, just kidding. We're actually going after self-actualization.
Yes.
It's from the get-go, because that's going to bring me the people who I actually want to work with, not the ones who are like, which I've had. They're like, will you just shut up? Just give me voice lessons. And I'm like, no, dude, we need to talk about why you're afraid to speak in the first place, or why
Yes.
you think everyone else on this call is dumb.
Right.
Shut up.
Yeah, sure. I could teach you how to end most of your statements with a question, and
Don't
I
get me
could teach
started.
you how to slow down. Sure, I could teach you how to crinkle some paper into a microphone and set a scene. But if you don't know how to step into that, if you don't know how to own that and take that for yourself, what good is it going to do? 100%, you're right on the money, Michael.
Okay. Thank you, Dante. All right. I'm off now. I'm clear.
Good, you got it, man. I'll be excited to hear next week how all that goes. Anybody else have any questions about their Epiphany script? It's totally fine if you don't. I just picked something from today because Russell's traveling. I just picked something that is of utmost importance. You may not even be here in your challenge yet. So if there are no questions about the Epiphany script, that is perfectly fine. We have some time. We can go over some other questions. But if you have an Epiphany question, just go ahead and unmute yourself. We can talk about it. Ooh, Chris.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask real quick. So my story um scares most people. And
Ooh,
so I have to be delicate with how I come across, but in my niche though, that's the people I'm trying to reach, are the people who've been through the same struggles I've been through. So, and I'm vulnerable about it. I'll talk about it all the time, but I just have to be careful sometimes in the environment I'm in. So, I was 18 plus years of addiction, almost a decade of incarceration. But I turned everything around, and so kind of go through my epiphany was, before I discovered this framework that I have now that I'm teaching, I I could never seem to get out of the cycle. I could never seem to totally break free from the cycle, no matter how many times I tried. And so then I one day I realized, because I was talking at a recovery place, I was up on the stage, kind of giving some insight, and I said something, and I remember it. I wrote it down, and I use it all the time. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And it
Hmm.
really struck me like, okay, nothing changes if nothing changes. Okay, I need to change everything then. And so that's when I started, really diving into the subconscious and the mindset and all those things. That's how I kind of built my framework of what I coach now. And so, but I have noticed I've gone to some places and kind of pitched this out, and I watch feedback, I watch people, and I get a lot of like, ooh, I don't know if I want to listen to this guy. Like,
Mm.
so that's where I kind of have that, like, how do I need to sugarcoat it at some points, or do I just be raw and just accept it for what it is?
Garrett J. White gets a lot of those responses too. If he was to go to a little networking event and give his story and give his epiphany script, he would get a lot of the same exact responses. Your specific customer in this case, Chris, probably isn't there.
Yeah.
But if you went to, I'll just pull from what Garrett's last example was that I heard him speak. If you were outside of a strip club talking to guys for 2 hours, giving that Epiphany Bridge story, I bet you'd get different responses from the people at these little networking events. Because that's where your people are. That's where the hurt people are. They're going through the things that you're actually talking about. So, hearing what you just said, that you're eliciting those responses, is probably actually a great thing. Because when your dream customer hears this, the heavy things that you're talking about in life, that for others who haven't gone through it, make them feel uncomfortable and make them put them in a place where they don't know how to react and respond. For your dream customer, it's probably exactly what they're thinking every single day. Those are all probably stories they can exactly put themselves in. So that all sounds right on track to me.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Great. You got it, Chris. Any other questions, gang? It's a fairly small group today, so feel free to just unmute. We can talk about it.
Dante, can I ask a question?
You can.
Sorry, I don't want to take over here. I know I already had a turn. In the split test, do I have to reattach a workflow, or does it just automatically take the workflow from from the original funnel?
Great question. I don't remember exactly, but I can test this right now.
Because it doesn't seem to have it attached. You know how it has a little envelope and stuff attached on the side?
That's
Well,
correct.
the split test doesn't seem to have that
That's
attached.
correct. Your new duplicate will not have that attached, so just add the existing workflow. On the
Okay.
duplicate, go click the lightning bolt, and then all of your existing workflows are going to show up. Just choose the exact same workflow that's on
Yeah.
your control.
Okay, great. Thank you. Right, I'm going to love and leave you. Thank you very much. I'm off. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank
Take
you.
care, everybody.
You have earned a
Thank
good
you.
night's rest. Have a great weekend.
Take care, everybody. Have a good
Do the same.
weekend. Bye.
All right, well, that was great, gang. Homework over the weekend. Come up with your Epiphany Bridge script just to drill this into you one more time on how important this is. Tony Robbins came to this most recent Funnel Hacking Live, FHL 10 in Vegas, and he did something I've watched him do for years at all of his speeches and presentations. He walked through the crowd about 3/4 of the way through the speech, and he started saying, let's talk about your business. Let's talk about how you introduce yourself to others as a business owner. And he went up to multiple people, gave them a microphone, and said, so tell me, what do you do? Now, to be fair to everybody in the audience, when Tony Robbins walks up to you in front of 10,000 people, gives you a microphone and says, so what do you do? With that big old Tony smile, it's pretty nerve-wracking. And there are many people who do know how to say what they do, and they are articulate, but in the moment, they kind of crumble under the pressure. So I know that, I understand that, and I just want to call that out on the front end. But having said that, watching him go through the crowd, in 2025, doing the same thing I've seen him do in videos from 1999, just really goes to show how business is business is business. And there are some core components that will never change. And your story is one of them. He went up to so many business owners, said, hey, so what do you do? And they fumble and bumble. Oh well, I sell pet grooming equipment like hats and stickers and necklaces for your cats and your dogs and animals, and I sell them and I send them to your door really fast. Right? Like that's not professional. And that could be to an extent. It's your Epiphany Bridge story is the exact same as what do you do? Right? A lot of colleagues are going to ask what you do. A lot of customers are going to ask, how did you get into that? For the question of what you do, that's your simple, oh, I sell creatine monohydrate to athletes so they can get better results from their workout. That's a good what do you do statement. But then, how'd you get into that? How'd you learn that? How'd you start that? That's our customers asking questions where we respond with the Epiphany Bridge story. Tony Robbins did it in 1999. He does it now in 2025, or whenever that video I watched from Tony was. When Tony was young, doing this thing in his first year of business consulting, and he didn't have sold out stadiums. I've watched all those videos, and he did the exact same thing. It's unbelievably important, and it really sets the tone for how your colleagues, who will turn into your assets and business partners later on, how they perceive you. Most importantly, in the Epiphany Bridge script, it is how your customers will perceive you. It is everything. It's just like our parents told us, we can only set a first impression once. So we got to make sure to set it perfect on the front end. Having said that, that'll be our weekend homework. I'd love for you guys to craft your epiphany stories, and next week maybe we can run through some. And especially when Russell's back, let's share some epiphany stories with Russell, and that'll really set us up well for making sure that we're opening our webinars well. It'll be really great. So weekend homework is to come up with your epiphany stories. Now we do have a couple minutes, gang. So is there any questions? Look at that, Chris is ready to roll. I got you, man.
Yeah, I got a question real quick. So I got distracted with shiny objects as I was going through that one funnel away. And so I kind of got off some rabbit trails. So I'm a little bit behind. I think I'm on 11 right now.
Great.
But I guess my question is, do I just need to hurry and try to catch back up, or do I just keep going at my own pace?
Chris, keep going at your own pace.
Yeah.
So it's funny, I was talking to Evan about this the other day. We're never going to find time. We always have to make time. Sorry. I'm just getting over COVID or something. I don't know. My brain's a fog, so I'm imagining COVID. I was just talking to Evan about this the other day, though. We're never going to find time. We only have to make time. So if you want to stick to, like Russell told you at the beginning of the expert track, yes, we only paid $100 for this, but treat it like $100,000 consulting session, right? Take it with the utmost serious. If you paid $100,000 for this training, would you allow yourself to fall behind, or would you intentionally find time to get back on track? I say all that to say, Chris, I really just want to make sure you take it serious, right? Because what Russell's teaching is serious stuff. Having said that, I also do understand life, as we all do here at ClickFunnels. So if you fall a little bit behind, that is A-OK. You have 30 days of VIP, which gets you access to 30 days of coaching and extra trainings and bonuses. But after the 30 days, you retain access to the training. So usually, here's how it goes, honestly, Chris. Normally, people for 30 days, they come and join the coaching calls. They learn from questions of their colleagues who are a little bit farther ahead, a little bit behind. It's 30 days of coaching, and that really gives you such a firm foundation. Even if you fall a little bit behind, you will understand the process that you're going through. So most people stick with it on the first 30 days. Then I love for people to take a week or two to themselves. It's nice to have me here as a safety net, but I really want you guys to learn. I really want you to grow a skill set that you own and are knowledgeable about. And that really unlocks in your free time, that 1 to 2 weeks alone. I'd love for you to then, if you fall behind in those 1 to 2 weeks, go back through the training. But keep doing work every day, keep launching your funnels, keep running webinars, and then after those 1 to 2 weeks, you typically have a list of questions, you typically have some wins, you typically have some losses, and now you have now that you have the funnel built, now that you have the assets, in that second time, after the 1 to 2 weeks, people come back into OFA, they do VIP again. And that second time through, that's typically the catalyst time. The first time we're putting in a lot of work, building webinars, building slides. For a webinar build, Chris, it's actually pretty rare that people make it through all 30 days without falling behind on something, right? Like your slide deck is going to be 127 slides. Well, that may very well take you more than 12 hours if you've never made a webinar. So kind of a long explanation, but does that all make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I'll
Cool.
probably end up going through it again. So
That's a
cool.
super common method. I see a lot of people go through 3 and 4 times, but pretty much everybody goes through twice.
Cool. Thanks, Dante.
Awesome. You got it, man. Tony, I see you. How can I help today?
Hey, Dante. Thank you for giving me a minute. I'm from a previous cohort, so technically
Oh,
I'm crashing you,
you're
but
fine. I know you, Tony. You're good.
thank you, Dante. I appreciate it. I've just come off the Funnel Friday, and with the guys there, and they were digging deep into how to build your own website inside of ClickFunnels.
On today's
So
Funnel Friday?
that's right. Yeah.
Yep.
So they weren't building funnels; they were actually building sites,
Yep.
and that was I didn't know they were going to be doing that, but that was spot on timing for me because I want to replace my website, and I thought I'd do it inside of ClickFunnels rather than at the minute it's in WordPress, and I want to get out of WordPress and put it into ClickFunnels. Anyway,
Love that.
they made it so clear, like I know I can do that over the weekend, so that's easy. But the question I had, Dante, was I've got all these funnels that you helped me to build, so thank you again for that.
Oh, yeah.
And now I'm going to build a website. And some of the pages in the website or some of the call to actions will be to those funnels.
Yep.
Yeah. So I thought, well, do I replicate the funnels to some extent within the website? Or do I just create a little summary of the funnel with a call to action that then sends them to the actual funnel, which sounds like that's probably what you should do logically. But as we had a few minutes, I just thought I'd quickly ask you.
This is such a good question. You want to start building funnel hubs.
Yeah, exactly.
So, funnel hubs are websites. We call them funnel hubs because it is a website with proper marketing injected on it and a proper thought path. So,
Yeah.
we go look at Russell's books right here. Here's how I want you to run your hubs exactly, Tony. The pages of the products or of the lead funnels, whatever they are.
Yeah.
The pages should be quick descriptions, just like this. Headline, product name. Subheadline, literally what's on the book itself. There's no crazy marketing here. There's no crazy copy. Here's 2 sentences about the book itself. It's just there to show the thing. Your website is not going to be your seller. Neither is your funnel hub. It's there to take your traffic and direct your traffic to the right place depending on where they are in their value ladder. So we click this button. Take a look at my browser tabs up here. Right now we're on russellbrunson.com. If I click this button, a new browser tab opens up and I'm now taken to .comsecrets.com. I can't spend a dime anywhere on this funnel. On this hub. I can't do anything on this hub. This hub just shows me the different products available and then passes me off to the funnel. The funnel does all the selling.
Dante, that's beautiful.
Love
Completely answered all the sort of little things that were going around in my head about how to construct this, and it makes complete sense to me. And makes life so much easier because all the selling that I want to do, I've already done within the funnels. So now I just need to. And the way you're describing it, it's really the funnel hub is a traffic lighting or a traffic guiding system. I'm orchestrating the traffic to go to the funnels.
That's the whole concept behind funnel hubs, right? Like we know it's 2025 now, so we know websites are dead. But they still do have a purpose, and that purpose is to acquire and direct shadow traffic. Shadow traffic being Russell Brunson goes to speak at an event. At that event are 10,000 people. Russell goes up and speaks, and of course he kills it because he's Russell, and he always does. But at that event, let's say of the 10,000, half of them have never heard of or seen from Russell Brunson before. So by him going to do the event, doing the thing he was already going to do, he just got 5,000 new impressions. He's in front of half the new room, 5,000 people. And let's say of those 5,000 people, half of them were like, man, that Russell guy was great. I love what he said. I love how he said it. I want to go learn more. That's 2,500 people that go to Google, type in Russell Brunson, and get taken right here to russellbrunson.com, where they can see his story, learn a little bit more about his life. They can go to the books and they can see where to get started. Let's say of those 2,500, half of them go to his book itself. Oh, well, you're not even seeing my screen. Sorry. Half of them go to buy.com secrets. You know, that's 12,500 sales of that book. Another 1,000 by expert secrets. Another 250 by traffic secrets. Now he went and generated sales off that shadow traffic. Those people are now a part of his list. He just grew his business off of that shadow traffic. That's the whole purpose of a funnel hub. It is only to capture shadow traffic and push it off to the right funnels and places for them to go do those actions for that specific thing.
Yeah, got it, Dante. That's really, really helpful. It's
Awesome.
an important part of the overall picture, isn't it? Because people will, before they do business with you, they will go and look you up and they will go and try and find out information. And they're all the more likely to get to the right funnel if you've got a way of directing them there that's geared up exactly for that purpose. So yeah, much appreciated.
100%. For
Tony,
every
thank you for
expert
asking
here,
that.
that is how funnel hubs are to be used. If you're an e-com, funnel hubs can be a little different. It kind of turns into more of a storefront, little bit of a different conversation, but still really, even if you're an e-com, it's the same thing. You're probably not generating and driving tons of sales on your storefront unless your brand is very well established. Other than that, people will. They'll go to your website to look and make sure you're a real brand with real products. So it's across the board. E-com expert, your funnel hubs are really only an additive for the shadow traffic. Great question, Tony. Michael, I saw you.
Yeah, so the funnel hub, first of all, Tony, thank you for asking that because that's one of those things that's just like I have myname.com, but I also have a million things related to voice and then a million things related to personal training and then just
Right.
like me writing that like people might want to know. And I'm like, how do I organize it? So that even just seeing it like that, amazing. So Dante, the question that I have is you're saying funnel hub, that's basically somewhere in ClickFunnels, that's a template, and I can just go pointmichaelhewitt.com to that, and then it'll be exactly that with my pictures, and it'll say my singing, my coaching, blah 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 blah.
100%. We have templates for all of that. We have style guides for all of that. Actually, what he's referring to is Funnel Drop Friday. Every Friday, Russell and his team get together and build different types of funnels. Today, they did a funnel hub, a website. If I had to guess, they probably gave a template for the website that they built. So
They
if
absolutely did, Dante.
Of course they did, because we're turning impressions into leads. We eat the juice that we make, or we drink our own Kool-Aid. Sorry, definitely COVID. My brain is scrambled. So, if you go to funnelfriday.com, Michael, you'll be able to get access to the Funnel Drop Friday they just did today, and you'll be able to get that exact template. Just bring that template into your account. It'll be awesome, guaranteed.
Funnel Friday.
.com.
Dante, I actually have the link because I just come off of there. I could post it here if
Yeah.
you want to.
Do that. That'd be awesome. Yeah, throw it in the chat, Tony. That'd be fantastic.
There we
There
go.
it is. Nice /heroes. Oh, great. So that'll bring us right to the page. Nice. I haven't even been here yet. Thanks.
There's some new templates in there that the guys provided today.
Yes, sir. And you can get Barnum PT for free on that page as well at the very bottom.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so Michael, grab that template. We also have tons of site templates and themes that you can use for your site. So just find one that works. And then, like, you probably want to use your site to make the customer journey a little bit easier for customers to do themselves.
I've seen it for so long. It's like if I can just have, I'm Michael Hewitt, I sing. Are you here for singing, public speaking coaching, fitness?
Yep. There it is. Yeah.
Are you interested in theology and the purpose of life, and you don't care about this stuff, and you just want to hear me be like, here is what they're saying in the Bible?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
100%. And we typically want to lead with a lead magnet on our site. You probably have like a get started or I'm new, start here.
Everything is a mess and not cohesive, so I'm starting everything over.
Beautiful. So typically, we want the top of our funnel hubs gang to be pushing to a lead magnet, something people can do for free, something they can get started now for free today. And we want that lead magnet to over deliver. We want that lead magnet to be a great lead magnet. So as we're just going out making our social media posts, as we're going on podcasts, as we're putting out YouTubes, as we get to stages, as we're doing the things we're naturally doing every single day, and we're generating that shadow traffic, so we have a place they can go to, we can start acquiring leads automatically, building our business. Upon the backs of these leads, we can build an absolute empire.
Let's go.
let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Right.
Last question for you, Dante.
Yes, sir.
I don't know. This has been great. This is the first call that I've joined. I've been ClickFunnels on and off since forever. Like 2017. And obviously you haven't seen me yet, and I haven't won a 2 comma award, and I haven't spoken at Funnel Hacking Live. How can I just immerse more in ClickFunnels? Is that the I'm all in, or what is that?
Well, yes, I'mAllIn.com is really the decision we want you to make after you first take the challenge. And after you take the challenge, you'll know the processes, you'll understand the frameworks, you'll have an understanding of what Russell wants to teach you, even if it's not fully built. And then it just comes down to making a decision. Do you want to do this for the next year? The I'm All In offer is a yearly offer where you pay one bill, you get an entire year of ClickFunnels, plus all the bonuses and additives that we have to go along with that. And we really want you to make a decision. At the end, we don't want anybody to be a dabbler. We've all dabbled for long enough. We've all tried so many different strategies and concepts and frameworks for long enough. How we have true success is to dive in on the one thing. So if you think Russell's teachings are what you need to follow, then go to I'mAllIn.com. You go all in, you say yes to an entire year, and then Russell gives you everything that you need to succeed.
And that would also include live calls and basically VIP for a year, right?
I think it does. I actually have to go look at that page.
I have it up.
Do you? So do you get lifetime VIP?
12 months ClickFunnels Pro, one funnel away VIP full access.
Yes.
It says about that.
Yes, that's going to be, I believe, your lifetime VIP. So that gives you lifetime access to these calls.
Oh, fun. Okay, you might see me more.
That sounds like a plan to me, Michael.
All right, cool. My questions are answered. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Great stuff, man. Great to speak with you today. All right. Well, that was an awesome session, gang. Thank you for being with me. That was a blast, even though it's Memorial Week. Yes, Joseph, we absolutely can. So I stream all of these trainings. I stream them into your specific VIP community. So if you go to clickfunnels.com/community, that'll take you to your community page. On the left-hand side, find your VIP community, and then you'll see this post in there. It's under the topic live coaching calls. Every single one I stream in, so you can always go back and find the recordings of what you watched. Absolutely, Joseph. This is a really great week, Memorial Week, so a little bit lighter than normal, but super proud of you guys for being here all week. Super proud of you sticking through it and staying true to the decisions that you made to say yes when you started at ClickFunnels. I'm going to let you guys go. I don't need to take up too much time, but I do need to leave you with this, the same thing that I always do. Please don't forget to celebrate the small wins. Whether that small win is I built my first funnel, whether that small win is I finally have the frameworks of my epiphany script, or maybe that small win is I'm going to make a decision this weekend or today on whether I'm going to go all in or not. Right? Whatever that win is for you, please don't let comparison be the thief of your joy. Small hinges swing big doors. So if you've done big things in your life today, regardless of how big or small they are compared to others, if you've had wins, please make sure to take some time and celebrate those. Go have a nice meal with a loved one and make that meal in commemoration of the things that you've accomplished this week. Be proud of what you've done. Small hinges swing big doors. Lastly, business is just a reflection of self. That's all that business is. It is the truest, largest, and clearest mirror you will ever look at yourself through. It is a very telling endeavor to run a business. So yourself has become unbelievably important. Make sure to take some time this weekend and do something that fills you back up. I don't know what that might be, and to be honest, I don't care what that might be. It might be going on a beautiful hike up a mountain and enjoying nature. Or it might be building a monster truck and driving it into a wall lit on fire, right? I don't know what fills your cup back up, and I really don't care. You know what fills your cup. There you go, whitewater rafting. That dog will hunt, Chris. Or that fish will swim, I guess we should say. Or that paddle will paddle. Or that boat will float. Anything we want to go with. But yeah, there. Do something that fills you up. Jennifer's going to hit Disneyland. Love that. Absolutely. We cannot neglect ourselves. I love a grinder. Don't get me wrong. I love somebody who's crazy and savage and going to stay up for 72 hours straight working on their business because their ads just started converting. I love that. That's awesome. But please, that's not sustainable. This weekend, at some point, take at least a couple of minutes and do something that fills your cup back up so we can hit the ground running next week, have the same exact type of momentum, and have big things done. You guys are awesome. It's always amazing to be with you. Have a great weekend. I'll catch you on Monday.